All right. Okay, so first things first, grab your Theraband. We're going to start with a little bit of our kayak rowing just to get our shoulders kind of loosened up. So before we start, check your Theraband for any little nicks or tears, just to make sure it's in good working order. And then once you feel like it looks pretty good, we're just going to hold it sideways and start some nice, big, generous swings of the arms. Really let the shoulders be loose. Let your elbows be loose. No need to effort into this. And you don't even have to pull apart on the Theraband. We just want to get the shoulders kind of moving, getting nice and warm. About 5 more seconds here. Nice. And then take it into a little twist. So arms out in front of your chest, but again, let it be nice and loose. So no need to effort too much into it, just to start to find a little bit of movement and rotation in the spine now. And try to keep your hips fairly facing forward. Like let there be a little bit of give as you twist, but not a big movement of the hips. Nice. And time. Lower your arms down. Okay, we're going to stick with that Theraband, but now we're going to take it at a wider grip. So really, really nice and wide so that we can start to throw the shoulders up and overhead. So we want to swing the arms around and then swing the arms forward and allow for a nice wide grip so you have plenty of room. And just at the top, you might feel that little pull or tug on the Theraband to give you a little bit of feedback. But mostly it should be loose and comfortable and as wide of a range as you need. And now we're going to add on. So as we flip that Theraband forward, give a little heel raise, lower down, flip it back, give a little heel raise and lower down. So go a little bit slower and more deliberate. Come forward, heel raise, come back and heel raise. Awesome. And then start to pay attention to those heel raises. So either go really low. So maybe you even pick your heels up just a centimeter off the ground so you can really control that movement. But we want to make sure we keep a nice even distance between our heels as we lift up and lower down so that we're not bopping our ankles outward and we're not letting the ankles collapse in. 7 seconds left. You got this. And time. Nice work. Okay, we're going to stick with that Theraband, but now choke up on it a little bit, get a nice, good, about shoulder width distance grip. And we're going to keep that Theraband up and overhead, pulling apart, feet about hip width distance apart. We're going to sink into a little squat and come right back up, keeping the arms up and overhead the whole time. We're going to keep that nice distance between our arms as we pull the Theraband apart. So we're keeping some action in the arms the whole time. If at any point it becomes too fatiguing to keep the arms up and overhead, bring them out to shoulder height, but keep that pulling apart sensation. And same thing here, if your arms up and overhead are creating a pinching in your low back, then you'll want to lower them at the chest height as well. But if it feels available to keep them up and overhead, pulling apart, sink into a little squat and rise back up. Nice. Nice, you guys, that looks awesome. And time, awesome job. Lower your arms, give them a good shakeout. All right, now we've got our legs a little bit warmed up and the shoulders a little bit warmed up. So we're gonna hold the Theraband out, straight out from the chest, sink into your squat here, choke up on your Theraband a little bit so you get a little bit of an effort to keep it pulled apart. And then we're gonna keep that pulled apart straight out from the chest and alternate your tap back. So one foot's gonna touch back and then the other. We're gonna maintain that nice pulling apart sensation on the Theraband. So choke up as much as you need to so that you can keep and maintain that pulling apart. And then start to notice the broadness in your shoulders. So if your shoulders hiked way up in order to pull that apart, sink your shoulders down Keep a nice strong back as you alternate, tapping one foot back and then the other. Nice. Yes, you guys, that looks amazing. Beautiful. "15 seconds left. You got this." If you lost that tension on the Theraband, pull apart just a little bit, broaden your shoulders, sink your butt just a little bit lower if you lost your squat. You got this. And time. Woo! Rise up, give your shoulders a little shake out. All right, now we're gonna step on our Theraband. So grab your tail ends, place the little U shape down on the ground, step your feet in, and then widen your stance so that we can get into some bicep curls here. So we're gonna keep a nice tight grip on the tail ends of the Theraband. Elbows are gonna hug in at our sides, and we're just gonna bend the elbows and then lower with control. So we wanna work evenly coming up and work evenly going down. And then if you feel like you're not getting quite enough work, you'll wanna choke up on the Theraband a little bit, go a little further down the line, find that extra resistance. But again, we're keeping the elbows hugging in at the ribs. We're just bending the elbows. Imagine you're drawing your thumbs up to the shoulders and lowering down with control. 20 seconds left. You got this. Keep a little bit of a firmness in your belly. So we want to find most of the work coming out of the arms. And time. Nice work. Okay, now we're going to get into a little single leg work. So one leg is going to stand on the Theraband. So we're going to have the one end down on the ground and then step your foot on. And what we want to try to do is find the Theraband coming behind the backside. So if you can step on it so that it's coming out from behind you, single leg. So the one leg that's on the ground, that leg is going to stay on the ground. And then the other leg is just going to have the big toe on the ground. And now we're going to get some tricep press ups. So we're going to press our hand up towards the ceiling and bend it, bring it down. I'm just going to come down just to make sure you can see my top arm. So we're pressing up and overhead and bending and bringing it down. Nice. All right, so we're staying on that leg and the other foot is just big toe in the ground. So we're creating a little bit of instability. So we need to maintain a little firmness in the belly. And then we're just going to hug that arm tight towards the ear and find that work in the back of the arm or in the triceps. Nice, you guys, that looks awesome. So if you start to feel like you're flaring everything up to help press as the back of the arm starts to get fatigued, pull the belly in, draw the ribs in towards each other. You got this. And time. Woo! Lower that arm down, shake it out, but we got to switch sides. So rearrange your Theraband on the ground, step your foot on. Arm comes up and overhead and the Theraband comes behind you. And then we're just on the big toe. So we create that instability and start to press the Theraband up towards the ceiling. Keeping that elbow hugged in fairly tight. Nice. And we're lifting up and lowering with the same level of control. So we're not letting that thumb snap back down and we're not pushing up vigorously. Everything should be nice and even, press up and lower with control. Check your belly, check your ribs, just make sure everything's pulling in nice and firm in your center. And time. Nice job. Lower that arm down. Woo, give it all a good shake out. All right, now we're going to take it into a wide stance. So find your nice wide stance, toes turned out to the left and to the right, so we can find our sumo squat. We're going to walk our hands together to the center of the Theraband and then pull it apart. Turn your fists in towards each other like you're holding a steering wheel. And we're going to start to turn the steering wheel one way and come up. Turn the steering wheel the other way and come up. So we're taking it into a sumo squat and we're driving the bus. So palms are facing inward towards each other. We sink down as we turn one way, come back up, sink down, turn the other way, but keep a nice long line so the arms are reaching straight out. And notice my ribs and my shoulders aren't doing much in the way of moving. I'm turning my arms and coming up, turning my arms and coming up. Nice. And then once you've got your arm motion down and that becomes a little bit easier to manage, think about your squat and sink a little bit deeper each time if you can. Watch those knees. We want to make sure the knees are pulling outward rather than collapsing in. So if you feel like your knees are collapsing in, make your squat just a little bit smaller so it's something you can control. Woo, and time. Nice job. Rise up, shake out those legs. Oh man, we're already down to the ground. Come on down onto your butt. All right, so we're gonna lower down onto the ground, placing the Theraband across the hips, and then we're gonna trap that Theraband onto the ground. So we're gonna press into the arms and then take it into a hip bridge, lift the heels, lower the heels, lift the toes and the balls of the feet, lower the toes and the balls of the feet, lower your hips back down. So we raise the hips, lift heels, lift toes, and then lower back down. We got 1 minute on the clock. You're going to take it at your pace. And then you're just going to press down as hard on that Theraband as your body likes. So you can find a little bit of feedback and a little bit of resistance as you lift your hips up. Nice, Ting. That looks awesome. And time. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to sit up, hold that Theraband, finding those kayak arms again. So now we're going to choke up into the center of the Theraband, pull it apart, lean back into your V-sit, and then keep that pull on your Theraband as you row your kayak side to side. Now, if you want that extra bit of challenge, you're going to lean back, pick up the toes, and then row your kayak here. And then if those little tail ends are annoying you or catching on your clothes, fold your Theraband in half, pull it apart there, reducing the amount of little tail ends that you've got sticking out, and then just start to row your boat. Keep a nice even pulling outward so that you really feel that nice resistance and that broadness around your shoulders on the backside. And time, nicely done. Lower down onto your back, set your Theraband off to the side. We're gonna tuck our hands under our bum, Just to give a little cushion to the tailbone, send your legs upward towards the ceiling and double leg lifts from here. Lower as low as you can control, and then pull the legs back up. So load them nice and low if you can reach, but make sure it's a controlled lift back up. Only go as far and as low as you can maintain control of. And then if you like, use your breath. So the exhale will help you on your effort. Nice, you guys, that looks amazing. And time, nice work. Okay, release your hands from under your bum, bend your knees. So we're gonna come into a sort of tabletop position with the legs, hands behind the head and right into full body crunches. So we're gonna pull the abdominal muscles down, pull the knees and elbows in towards each other, and then extend it out. And you can extend the legs long or just right back to that tabletop position. But we're gonna take it at your pace. You're gonna focus on pulling the abdominal muscles down towards the spine as you pull the elbows and knees in, and then release it out. And time, nice work. Rock and roll up to a V-sit again. Grab your Theraband. And now we're gonna keep the Theraband straight out from the chest. Lean back, find your little V-sit, and then we're gonna start to alternate pulling apart. So you're gonna pull the right arm out, left arm's gonna stay stationary, and then pull the other arm out. So we're gonna maintain that V-sit. We're gonna maintain that nice stability in our center and just pull apart nice and wide as you can go, but maintaining that stability. So nothing else is wobbling around. As I pull apart, everything else stays stationary. My belly stays firm, moving out of the chest and the shoulders, keeping a little bit of work in the core. So we lean back into that seat. Nice, you guys, that looks awesome. Beautiful. Five seconds left, you got this. And time, woo, nice work. Flip around into a tabletop, take your Theraband with you. All right, now from here, we're gonna place the Theraband kind of flat across our mat so that we want a little bit of place where we can place our hands on to keep it trapped. And now one hand's gonna hold it and keep it trapped. The other arm is gonna pull it out nice and wide and then find a little spinal rotation. Lift just as high as your rotation allows. Lower it down, plant your palm, switch to the other side. Pull the Theraband out, rotate and lift up, and then lower it with control and switch sides. We got 1 minute on the clock. You're gonna move slow and mindful. So lengthen out, lift up, find a little rotation, lower it down, trap the Theraband, and then to the other side. Lift out, up, and then back down with control. Nice. And we want to keep control as we lower and lift. So we're not letting the Theraband snap us back down into that tabletop position, but releasing with control. Nice, you're already halfway there. Ten seconds left. Beautiful time. Okay, now we're going to take that Theraband and flip it around. So it's going to come behind the crooks of our knees, back to that move that we did on Friday. So we're going to hold the tail ends of our Theraband, hold them down with fists or press into them with your palms. So whichever grab feels like a better way to go. But we're going to take it into a hovering tabletop position. So we're going to pull the knees up, hold them up, press up into a down dog position, lower back down to a hovering table. If you can, keep the knees lifted the whole time. Keep the core engaged. If you need to set your knees down in between each move, go ahead and do that. Only press as far back as feels comfortable to the backs of your legs. So no need to yank against the hamstrings. Just allow for some lengthening. Strengthen the shoulders, strengthen your belly. Nice, you're already halfway there. Nice, Judy, awesome, beautiful. Yes, Mara, really nice. Nice, Ting, nice. You guys look amazing. And time, beautiful job. Okay, now from here into a high kneel position, grab your Theraband, release it from behind your knees. The challenge is a surrender. So from this kneeling position, can you step 1 foot up, come up to standing, and then come back down to that kneeling position? And then we're going to take it from here. Now, if that up and down is no good for your knees or your ankles, you're going to come up, stay up, and then alternate stepping back into lunges and then reaching up and overhead. But if this surrender feels good, you're going to keep that Theraband either pulling apart at the chest or pulling apart up and overhead. And we're going to come down and come up and alternate your lead leg. So if you start with your right, come up with the right, and then lower with the other leg. You got it. So take it at your level, whatever you're feeling this morning. Keep a little bit of a firmness in your belly to help support that up and down movement. Nice, you guys. And time. Woo! Lower those arms down. Come up to a standing position. Okay, we're going to get the heart rate up just a little bit. So move your Theraband off to the side. Find your way to the back edge of your mat. We're going to take little jumps. Jump out to one side, jump to the other side, jump to the other side. So we're zigzag jumping our way up to the front of the mat and then take a little zigzag step all the way back. So we're going to jump all the way up to the front of the mat and then step like you're ice skating or skiing. Take your way to the back edge of your mat. We got 1 minute on the clock. If jumping is not for you this morning, think about a step, 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 but make it a little bit vigorous. So you're getting your heart rate up and putting a little bit of impact on the bones. Nice, you guys. You look awesome. And time. Beautiful work. Woo, catch your breath. Grab your Theraband. All right, now we're going to do a little working recovery. So a nice wide squat, a nice wide hold on your Theraband. So feet are about shoulder width distance apart with the toes turned out slightly. Arms up and overhead. We're going to sink into a little squat, pull the elbows wide, and lift back up. So once you feel like you've got a good place for those elbows to come wide, pull down and reach up, then you can choke up on the Theraband and find just the right resistance for you. So we want to find some good work in the shoulders and the lats. So think about that nice meaty section around the shoulder blades. Can you find a little work there as you pull down and elbows come wide and then raise back up? Sink into your squat and then lift back up. You got it. Nice. And if that maneuver where you're pulling the Theraband behind the head, if that's no good for your shoulders, just do it at the front and then just be a little bit more mindful right at the bottom. Can you pull those elbows back and find that squeeze? And time. Nicely done. Awesome. Lower those arms down. Now we're going to take the Theraband across the hips again. So find that nice broad space. Walk your hands in so that your hands are fairly close to the hips. So we want to find a little bit of work here. Now, feet about hip width distance apart. Nice tall stance. We're going to press the arms back, nice and straight. Hold them there. Turn your head one way. Turn your head the other way. Head comes back to center. Release your arms. Press back. Feel that heat in the back of the arms. Turn your head one way. Turn your head the other way. Head back to center and release. Nice. Now you've got it down. Take it at your pace. If you need to, choke up a little bit more on that Theraband so you find a really good resistance. Press the arms back. Head turns, back to center and release. Press back, turn, and center and release. And then each time you press back, find that squeeze. So you want to feel a little bit of a squeeze, those arms squeezing into the side body. Maintain that. Turn your head, back to center and release. Nice. And time. Nicely done. Shimmy out those shoulders. We're going to come back to our nice wide squat. We're going to hold that squat. So sink into your sumo squat. Now, palms are going to face up. So we're going to catch underneath the Theraband. Hug your elbows in at your ribs. Stay low in your squat. We're going to rotate one arm out. Other arm is going to stay where it is. Bring it in. And then take it to the other side. So the elbow is going to stay hugged in at the ribs. We're rotating out from the shoulder and staying low in the squat. Now, once you've got that pattern down, add on. So As your left arm rotates out, right heel lifts, bring it back in. Switch sides. Right arm rotates out, left heel lifts, and bring it in. And then pick up the pace and alternate. One heel, one arm, one heel, one arm. Nice. Watch those elbows. Make sure you keep them nice and tight at your side. So don't let the elbows move too much. Nice. And time. Woo! Come on up. Shake those shoulders out. Set your Theraband off to the side. And we just got to loosen everything back up again. So we're going to touch across, touch behind, touch behind. So opposite hand, opposite foot. And then find to start a little rhythm. Reach and touch. Pick up the pace. Loosen up your hips. Loosen up your shoulders a little bit. So opposite hand, opposite foot. Same in the front, same in the back. Nice. Take one more time, front and back, and then let everything be kind of loose, feet about hip or shoulder width distance apart. Take a nice big breath, reach up. And as you exhale, bend your knees a lot, fold all the way down to the ground, hang out here. Take a little bit of a sway side to side. And then keep a slight lift so that your arms are sort of free. And then we're just gonna let the arms circle. Nice and heavy, circling in one direction. Awesome, and then circle in the other direction. Beautiful, and then let your arms be still, bend your knees a lot, pull your belly button in, round and roll all the way up to standing. Give a couple shrugs of your shoulders, grab your Theraband. We're gonna take it behind the back, palms facing backwards, and then find a little bit of room to move. So we want our arms to be free to move away from the back side of the body. And then once you feel like you've got a pretty good grip, bend your knees a lot, hinge from your waist, fold over, let your arms fall away from the back side of your body and let them get nice and heavy here. Take one more big breath here. And then relax the Theraband towards your low back, bend your knees a lot, lift from the crown of your head, come up nice and slow. Awesome, give a couple of good shrugs of the shoulders, set your band off to the side, bring one arm across the body, grab the back of the arm, drop the shoulder down, take a couple gentle nods of your head up and down. Nice, and then switch sides. So other arm is gonna come across, we drop the shoulder down and nod the head up and down. Beautiful, one more nod up and down, and then let those arms go. Give them a couple of gentle swings. We worked hard in those shoulders today. Nice work, you guys. Grab your big stability ball if you're sticking around.